Hey guys, Chris here from Carolot Farm. This is the first morning I have my minis separated. I have Sweetheart and Snuggles still in the back barnyard, and I have Lady and the boys up in the front winter paddock. So breakfast is a little different today. Everyone did really well though yesterday when we separated the herd and we moved 3 to the front and left 2 back here by the barn still. I've got to say it went really smoothly, and I'm really thankful and grateful for that. And so now I'm going to feed these girls. Sweetheart, I'm still going to continue to feed in the feedlot, and we'll see about Snuggles. I think I might also start putting her in the neighboring feedlot just because they're loose here together and it makes sense that way. But we'll have to see how the morning goes and what just sort of naturally feels right. Sweetheart is definitely the more dominant mare. You know, she kind of told Snuggles to stay back at the gate there. And I like that, actually. I like that Snuggles is waiting very patiently. And so I'm going to open the gate here for Sweetheart. And then if Snuggles walks up, I will then open the feedlot next door for her. But right now I just have one gate open. Sweetheart is just walking around me in circles. She's trying to kind of figure out this new routine. But now she's going inside. And now that I'm ready, Snuggles can come next door. Sweetheart is a little grouchy. She definitely wants breakfast, but now everyone is quietly in their lots. Something I might do tomorrow that I think might help this, or even this evening, is to actually put their food in their buckets first before I come into the barnyard to open their gates. That way they'll be a little more inclined to come right on in, and there won't be quite as much of this wishy-washiness before they enter the feedlot. Anytime you're trying to establish a new routine, it takes time, it takes patience, and you have to work at it, because what I did today doesn't quite feel like the best way to go about things. And so I'll keep modifying what I'm doing until I get a routine down that works for me as well as my horses. So today was the first day of this new approach, but we'll keep working to figure things out a little bit better. My little cat Shrimp here is lapping water from the edge of the frozen trough. I hope he doesn't fall in. That would be a real surprise. The horses do have their water though in the red trough that is not frozen with the de-icer, but this one I will go ahead and break as well, just for a second option. I was going to do a little video and talk more about my water trough and why I have this gray one here. It all had to do with Rocky, and Rocky is now in the front field, and I have not yet made the video. So let me say what I was going to say. He was beginning to not want to drink out of the red tub with the de-icer. So I have this feeling like he has some weird association with de-icers, and when he sees them in the tub, he really doesn't want to drink out of it. And because it was really cold, I really wanted to make sure that he was drinking plenty. And the other day, when it was snowy, I think, back when we had that really cold snap, I saw him drinking ice cold water out of this gray trough when it was still in the other back field. You know, he stuck his head through the fence and was choosing to drink ice cold water over his red tub with a de-icer. So once I got the mares set up with their new de-icer in the back, they are willing to drink out of it, which is great. I then brought the gray tub up front here so that Rocky would have this as an option as well as his red tub, which sits just beside it, that has that de-icer in it. So again, I don't know why he doesn't want to drink out of the tub with the de-icer. I put my hand in there, I make sure I'm not getting shocked. There's no current or anything. So I don't know if it has a small hum to it, but for some reason, he really chooses to drink out of anything that does not have a de-icer. So who knows? But that's why the gray trough is here. Yesterday, after I moved my other 3 horses to the front paddock, I decided to keep this gate closed as well as this back paddock closed off to both Snuggles and Sweetheart. They only had the barnyard in the front ring. And that was because I didn't want them coming back here and seeing the other horses. I thought that could cause a little more distress. They've done well overnight though. I only heard Sweetheart calling a time or 2 after dark, and we actually came out with flashlights just to make sure everyone was good. They seemed fine, they settled down, but I do know that she is missing the other 3 a little, so I might continue to keep her in the barnyard and the ring for another day before I give her access to this back field and side paddock where she can see them. I've got my 3 piles out now spread for Sweetheart and Snuggles, and I'm going to turn Snuggles out, and while Sweetheart finishes eating, I'm going to jump up front and feed my other 3. What a sweet girl. So while she comes on up, you can see her, she's still making a beeline up here for me. I'm going to go and meet her and get her all settled before I put any grain out for anyone. I've got the two boys closed in their feedlots, and Lady is already munching in our barnyard, so let me get the boys their breakfast now. Again, new routines are kind of funny and tricky sometimes. So when I obviously came in here to feed Lady, the boys at first were just down the bottom, super happy, didn't seem to care. Well, the moment I dropped feed for her, they came running up. No surprise, right? So I had to jump in here pretty quick, close them out of this little barnyard area. This is where Lady is. It's under the shelter. She eats here. They eat in the feedlots. And again, once we get our routine ironed out, it'll be great, I'm sure. But we have some growing pains right now. But right now, those boys are happy munching on grass, but I do need to get them their breakfast. And Lady needs her hay pellets. I do really like having a feedlot though for both of the boys. This way Rocky can eat his food and Shenanigans can eat his here. When they were together, you know, Rocky is a little more dominant, and sometimes he would get a little bit of Shenanigans food. So this way they really can have their own place to eat. My boys though, they're really just getting a handful. It's not a whole lot. It doesn't amount to much, but you know, should we need to feed one more than the other at some point, it's really nice that I can more easily separate them out. And having this separate little area for Lady, I can very easily separate three. If I had a fourth, I could even have a fourth eating in the field. So I'm really happy with our current setup here in the winter turnout. And I think, again, once we get things ironed out, it's going to be really, really useful. Lady here will probably still take every bit of 30 to 40 minutes to eat. She's getting her full amount of senior and hay pellets. She's showing that she still wants that, which is great. And the boys, because they had such a small handful, they're probably already finished now. So I'm gonna wait just another minute or two, turn them out into the field, and then while Lady finishes eating and while Sweetheart finishes in the back, I'll go get some breakfast myself, come back around and turn the ladies out. So that's what it's looking like right now, but I'm really happy to report these three did great out here in their winter turnout overnight. They seemed very quiet and content. And when I looked out this morning, I saw two of the three laying down in the sunshine. So I feel that's a really great sign. One other thing I'll mention about the horses being in the new turnout, I did have to come out this morning and bust ice in the red tub here, and it looks like I need to bust it again. It's still like in the low to mid 20s, so it's pretty chilly. We don't have a de-icer here, and because Rocky has been a little funny about drinking out of troughs with de-icers, I kind of figured, well, I'll just try this for a bit and see how it goes. But without a de-icer, it means I have to keep breaking ice and bringing warm water more frequently. So we'll see, guys. I might bring a trough out here though with the de-icer and have both as options, and that way if it ever gets super, super cold and he gets really thirsty in the middle of the night and I haven't broken ice, then when he's thirsty enough, he can drink from the other tub. So I'll keep you posted again on that. Again, it's a new thing here, but for right now, I'm gonna bust ice one more time and then go get that breakfast I told you about. I am noticing that Lady is definitely preferring to finish up her senior feed over her hay pellets. It might be that she's not quite as hungry, having been out on a little more grass. So I'll keep an eye on that, and if she is not eating her pellets, I'll scale back and give her a little less until I see that her appetite perhaps picks back up. But just something to be mindful of. Now that I've taken halters off, I'm finding that I need a hook or a nail. I'll have to work on that. My shanks I have tied to the gate. I'm not worried about that. The horses won't get tangled. But if I hang a halter, I mean, somebody could still get like a leg tangled if they were being silly and pawing or something. So I don't want to hang my halters on my gate, but I will come back out later today and find some sort of, you know, hook to go ahead and hang these on. Whenever you move horses to a new farm, a new field, a new barn, you know, you have all these like growing pains to figure out. And again, needing a hook and not having one was one of the first. I'll uncover others as we continue to find our way here with our new winter turnout. But right now, I'm really happy. The horses are happy to be out on grass, and the other two are finding their way in the back without their buddies close by. So again, so far so good, guys. Just as I was getting back to the house, I saw that Sweetheart was finished. So I've come down, I'm gonna turn her out. She can join Snuggles out in the ring. That's where they have their hay. And then Lady again, she'll still need another 20 minutes or more to finish eating. And then I'll get breakfast while she does so, and then I will turn her out, and everyone will be pretty settled for the day. I am happy to report that Lady not only finished her senior feed, but her hay pellets. So now I'm gonna take her halter off and turn her out with her friends. Not only am I still needing to find that hook, right, for my halters, but I'm finding that I have manure that needs to be picked out of our new winter turnout, which means I need to round up a second wheelbarrow and a second pitchfork because I don't want to be having to cross the farm every day, multiple times a day just to pick. So again, there are just a few more things that we're going to have to line up to make sure that everything is as smooth as possible out here in the front field. But I'm so happy that right now everything's going pretty well. My husband was funny. Just a few minutes ago, he joined me up in the front of the farm when I was checking on Lady and the boys. And he said the way he always knows where I am on the farm is not by seeing me, but by looking for my cat, Frankie, here. He's black and white. He stands up pretty easily. And it's true. No matter where I am, he's usually not far. And so the silly little cat, he traveled all the way from the front of the farm back down here to the barnyard with me just to hang out. So he's a pretty darn good companion, but my husband was right. Frankie's not usually very far. We had a really old round bale that had been sitting right where that compost pile is now going to be, my manure pile. And we took that round bale and we spread it right where I'm standing here beside the barn to cover up all of the mud because I knew that this would become a heavily trafficked area this winter. So we have a nice bed of old, fairly rotten hay. It was not horse quality hay anymore, but we put it to good use here. And where the hay bale had been sitting though, I am finding some remnants of that old green netting that was wrapped around it. And so I'm trying to pull up and remove as much of that old string as I can. I really don't like having any sort of debris like this around horses or what could potentially become a horse paddock or something like that, manure that could break down and then be spread into the horse fields. So whenever you find twine or hay wrap like this, do your best to remove it because you'd hate for a horse to get tangled up in this. It could really cause some issues. Hey guys, I'm back down in the barnyard once again with my minis. I have been going back and forth, I feel, all day, getting my steps in for sure. Thanks for joining me though, and I hope you've enjoyed kind of this glimpse as to what it looks like to be getting horses settled in a very new paddock and turnout. There are always these growing pains, there are always things to figure out, things to round up, things to change and modify. That's part of the fun though, you know, every day is different, similar but different. So check back soon, we'll have plenty of updates to share. Everyone's doing really well. The wind is picking up though, so I am having to duck indoors to kind of give my farewell. I was gonna talk to you up by the front paddock, the new winter turnout. It was just too windy. So again, it's been a great day. We hung those halters. I don't know if I showed you already. We've started a new compost pile, manure pile up by the front turnout. We have rounded up a second wheelbarrow. I do need to get another pitchfork head though. I have one in good shape. I have two that are in pretty lousy shape. So I will need to order some new pitchfork heads. But other than that, I think we're in pretty good shape. The sun is still shining, so check back soon. Stay warm, stay dry, stay safe, and we hope to see you in the new year. Bye guys.